Okay, welcome back to Comic Book History, episode number 52. This is discussing another Steve Ditko character from Marvel Comics, Speedball! Yep, making his first appearance back in Amazing Spider-Man A number 22. Which, this guy's backstory, how he got his powers, it's the same way that Peter Parker got his powers as Spider-Man, because it's Steve Ditko. Really is the same thing. Where basically he caught him in an accidental, a scientific accident, which gave him his powers. Which basically is like light bursts, is to basically describe it. Speedball's real name is Robert Brown, otherwise known as Robbie. Yes, my late grandpa basically, his nickname was Robbie. Then eventually, because this story was basically just introduced as a character, so Marvel gave an ongoing series, which got quickly cancelled after 10 issues. Yep, and this was back in the mid-80s. And nothing was on this character for about a year or two. Then he popped up in Thor, where he revealed he was part of New Warriors. They do explain how he joined the New Warriors at the start of the original volume. And in pretty much in this period of time, because they basically made him active again, they pretty much had him mostly appear in New Warriors. They'll also make occasional spotlight appearances in the pages of Marvel Comic Presents. And mostly Buddy was just a guest star a lot of the time when it comes to Speedball. Yeah, if you're curious though exactly how the series went for Speedball, I do recommend checking it out. It's actually a pretty good series. He did actually write and draw the whole series himself. All 10 issues. Yep. Then, once the first volume ended for New Warriors, though if you're curious exactly what he did in the book, he was basically like a goofball. It's almost like the way that the writer wrote in the book. It's almost like he was written to be the group's Iceman. Basically the oddball of the group. Yeah, that was basically his role for a lot of the time when he read any New Warriors volume. He was also in the second volume for the series, and the third volume, which became when it was a reality show. And after that volume ended, then Civil War 1 happened, where he and New Warriors got caught up in a fight with Nitro in Stamford, Connecticut, which caused an explosion via the growth hormone. Then somehow he survived. Yeah, somehow he survived an explosion, and people blamed him for the destruction of Stamford, Connecticut. Well, causing the deaths of 600 people plus 6 ghost children. Yeah, apparently blame was put on him, even though that wasn't him, it was Nitro. Which still hasn't been tried for that murder. It's been like 14 years since this event happened, and he's still never been tried for mass murder. Then, this is basically how he came back to life. This is explained in Civil War Frontline, the original one. And then by the end of the series, he stops being Speedball. No more fun-loving Speedball. Oh no, he has become frickin' Penance. This guy with his metal helmet on, red suit, and spikes. Also in the suit, there are needles inside of it, which poke him 600 times a day. Oh yeah, and also, this thing also causes him to bleed a lot. I'm like, who in the world thought this was a good idea? To turn a fun-loving Speedball into Penance. Yes, this character did get a miniseries as Penance. Oh, by the way, what did Marvel do with him aside from this miniseries? Put him on Thunderbolts. Yep, put him on Thunderbolts at the Civil War 1. And he stayed there for 3 years. Under Norman Osborn, and then when it was the Black Ops team. And then, apparently, some of Marvel thought, yeah, Penance is stupid. Oh, yeah, by the way, he did run into his old friend Richard Rider when he was Penance. And Richard was not happy with this at all. Thank God, then I meant letting Roman that way. Then, eventually, I think some of Marvel were like, hey, Penance is stupid. I'm putting back a Speedball. So, back to Fun Loving Speedball, where he is part of the Avengers Academy series as teacher. Not a bad idea for him. Then the comic ended after 39 issues. Yep, it ended. And didn't do a lot. And it book ended in 2013. And then I think it was just a year later, I think it was, he ended up becoming reforming New Warriors in the pages of Nova. And then he became part of New Warriors again with the Chris Yost run. And basically, if you want to know what he did in that book, read the book. He didn't do a lot. And, I think that's it. Yeah, because it seems like once the volume ended, Speedball hasn't done much of anything since then. Yeah, and that's all I can say about Speedball. He's an absolute good character. It's just that there's not a lot of stuff to say about the character at all. I mean, he's got a good look for him. Oh yeah, I love his classic look that Steve Good designed for him. He did get a slight updated look for the 2000s. Yeah, this is what the character looked like in his debut back in Amazing Spider-Man number 2, 22, 64. 64 pages. Yeah, released back in 1988 and they became Penance in 2007. Yep. Yeah, when he became Penance, he looked like this. Yeah, this look, for in my opinion, was not a good idea. No, it was not. Like, if you're curious though what he did from the book, just read the book itself. That's what I recommend. Yep. But then after pretty much New Warriors ended, he became part of the Outlawed crossover for reasons. I'm not really sure why. Outside the comic, Speedball has made a few appearances, like mostly cameos and playable character lines too, but that's it. He's basically, like I said, an oddball character. He didn't, like, if you read his ongoing series, it just seems as though like there was some plan for him, but it was probably canceled due to low sales. It was the 80s after all. Yep. They'll call him the Masked Marvel. That was his nickname, the Masked Marvel. He didn't have noteworthy catchphrases, and he didn't have any noteworthy villains. That's kind of that's why this guy is not as memorable as, let's say, Doctor Strange, who is a very colorful character. Speedball, on the other hand, is a character that Marvel Comics, in my opinion, is probably by far the only character created by Steve Ditko, which Marvel just didn't care for at all. A lot of the time, they just shoved them in books, in group books, and didn't do a lot with them. That's a really biggest problem. Oh yeah, and also, they did have a minor bit interesting thing with Avengers Academy, where he had this thing where he had his old Penance helmet, and he basically was still kind of suicidal, but not as heavy as he was before. Apparently, like, every day he would take his own Penance helmet and slice his arm. Yes, this was a problem for him. Eventually he got over it. Yeah, eventually he got over it. He's not the only character who did this. The only character who did this in Marvel Comics, aside from him, was actually Laura McKinley, a.k.a. Wolverine. She was the only character I can think of who did this. But for her, the wounds did heal because she's got a healing factor. Not in the case of Speedball, though. Oh no, not the case of Speedball. Yeah. I know this one's kind of short because there's not a lot to discuss when it comes to Speedball. Not necessarily. He's not a character, like I say, who's widely known. He's not popular. He's probably for a lot of people the most least interesting sequel character that he's ever created. I mean, yes, he's created 4 big superheroes in Marvel Comics, and yet this one here is the only one who really hasn't that big of an impact at all in the Marvel Comics universe. Unlike, let's say, Doctor Strange. Now, the thing with Speedball, aside from New Warriors, the other group he was part of was Thunderbolts Avengers Academy. And that's it. That's all he was part of throughout his 32-year career. Yep. And also, his most recent thing he was involved with, he was going to be part of the New Warriors comic book. The one with the awful characters in it. Yes, on the cover image, he was going to be in the book, apparently. The way it looked on the image, It looked like, though, there was a lot more focus on new characters than the actual classic New Warriors characters. That's probably what, and this is, I gotta point this out, though. I think the real reason why Marvel canceled that New Warriors comic book is not just because of the pandemic. I think they realized no one would buy the damn thing. Because the characters they were introducing it were really stupid. Awful costumes and awful code names. Safe Zone, Snowflake, Trailblazer. Wow, what lame names and lame looking characters. No wonder why Marvel canceled this book. Yep. But not much else to say about Speedball. Yeah. So, next episode, a lot more. Better interesting character, a character people do know about, and is very popular. A lot more popular than Speedball. For episode 53, I'll be discussing Squirrel Girl. Yep, discussing this weird oddball character. And yet, she gets a lot more love than Speedball does. Yes. Squirrel Girl. Okay. See you next video. Well, for this series. Well, probably tomorrow at this rate. Because I'm just going back to Love Rue. Okay. See you next video. Bye.